Hi everyone, Misilla here, Learn to Grow. I hope that you guys had a wonderful holiday season. So today I'm going to take you on a quick tour of our winter garden. So there's really not much growing, but I placed all these these row covers on some of the beds, and we are able to extend our harvest throughout the fall and winter months. And the leafy greens are looking great and healthy, so I'll give you a peek of those, but we'll also take a walk around the garden and see what's going on. So we'll start on the back side of our garden. These are merit tree and purple tree collards. These are perennial collard plants, and they are hardy to about 25 degrees Fahrenheit. And what I usually do is mulch the base with some wood chips or fall leaves, whichever what I have on hand. And luckily our wonderful neighbor gave us all these fall leaves and dry grass clippings. Look at that, so nice. And you can also use that to make compost. Looks like some of the garlic that we planted a couple of months ago have sprouted, but that's okay. Since it's cold, they're not really going to do a lot. If anything, they'll remain dormant and they'll start to grow some more when the weather warms up. And I did mulch them all this whole row with some fall leaves. And we've got some dinosaur or lacinato kale. These were planted last spring. These were planted in the middle of the summer from seeds. So we have a whole row of that, especially in the fall and winter months, guys. When things are growing slower, things are breaking down slower, so the plants are not going to grow as quickly. So it's a good idea to plant more, so that way you can harvest a few leaves or a couple leaves from each plant, so you're not over harvesting from just one plant. And also it's a good idea to space them out, give them proper spacing in the colder months, since the nutrients are not as available when it's colder. So that way they'll have plenty of nutrients to support the growth. These are all raspberry canes planted right in front of this trellis. These raspberry canes were planted 2 seasons ago. I moved them from the miniature orchard where they were not getting enough sun, and they are doing so much better. In fact, they are just propagating to put out these suckers. So if you're planning on planting raspberries, it's a good idea to give them their own space, even their own garden beds. And also a good idea to maintain them because they will grow throughout the ground here. And throughout the season, I was pulling baby raspberry canes that are sprouting. So if you're not planting them in their own beds, just make sure that you make time to do that. Otherwise, they can take over a whole garden. By the way, this variety is thornless. It is called Canby raspberry. So it's a wonderful perennial berry, so healthy for you, and they are delicious. This cane here is called the flory cane, which is a fruiting cane. That means that this one will be bearing fruit this year. The old flory cane is something like this, so they feel hollow and they're easy to break. So that one I'll be removing. There's a few in there. And the newer shoots are called primal cane. The primal canes that emerge this year won't bear fruit, but they will next season. This one is a young blueberry plant. Here's another one here. Cannot remember the variety, unfortunately. And then we'll just take a peek of what's going on in these beds under the row covers. So this row cover is a light one, and these are also referred to as remay covers. It's a polyester cover that keep the heat in, and it allows sunlight or light transmission. Since this is a lightweight one, I believe it allows up to 80% light transmission, and also allows rain, precipitation to go through, so that way the plants get some water. So I've got some 1,000-head kale seedlings. These self-seeded in September, and also some Russian kale on that side. Let's take a look at these ones. Oh, they look beautiful. These are rainbow chard, and there are some Russian kale on the other side over there. So the purpose of placing a row cover or remake cover is to extend your harvest season. So these are for plants that you've already planted before the cold weather kicked in. So these were planted back in August and September. So I believe this row cover protects the plant down to about 26 degrees Fahrenheit. And it also prevents the plants or the leaves from freezing. So when that happens, the leaves tend to become mushy when you harvest them. So also when you're harvesting, you might want to wait before the weather warms a little bit, so that way if they do freeze, you can let some of that frost defrost, so that way the leaves that you harvest won't get mushy. Over in this bed are some music garlic that I planted 6 weeks ago, and we also have some perennial plants. I believe those are black-eyed Susans and some yarrow. I'll just go down over this way. Here are some perennial herbs. This is English thyme, garden sage, French lavender, winter savory in this pot, and this is called the curry plant, although it's more for ornamental, as an ornamental plant. And these are Tuscan rosemary, and this one's lemon balm, and some chrysanthemums. If you decide to grow this rosemary variety, which is the Tuscan blue rosemary, just make sure to give them enough space, because they can get up to 4 to 6 feet tall and have about a 4 feet spread. Planted some elephant garlic in this bed, and I see some charred seedlings that I haven't moved. As you can see, they are pretty cold hardy. It's gotten down to about 28 degrees. I believe they're hardy to around 15 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. These are Desert King and honey figs in 20-gallon pots. So I think eventually I'll have to transplant them into bigger containers or in the ground. But for now, I'm just kind of keeping them compact until I find them a permanent home. And I do mulch them with dry grass clippings and some fall leaves. Over this way, got some garlic planted into these big containers, also these fabric containers. And these are purple tree-colored starts or cuttings. And over in this bed are Deerfield purple hardneck garlic. Most of the herbs have died back. This is oregano. I have a lot of cleaning up to do in the springtime. I believe that one's lemon balm. Another lavender. This is that chocolate berry or Himalayan honeysuckle that I've got growing in a 10-gallon pot. This looks like there's more fruit in there. So it's pretty hardy here in my climate. Again, we are in zone 8B. I also have more garlic planted in that pot. I believe there's a young fig tree in here. This is fuchsia. This is the, I think, primrose and chocolate mint. So most of that have died back, but there are some new ones emerging. So if you're going to grow mint, make sure to keep them contained, because they will spread. They put out these suckers or lateral runners, and they can take over your garden. Over this side is more oregano, rosemary, and there's a sage right there. And this huge one here is pineapple sage. It looks like most of the flowers have fallen off. This one is parsley. It's gone to seed. And this is lemon verbena. So a few leaves left. I did mulch it, so hopefully this one makes it and comes back in the springtime. I also mulch the pineapple sage. So I've had this pineapple sage for almost 2 seasons now, going on 3rd. So I just pretty much mulch it every fall and winter, at least 2 to 4 inches of either wood chips and or fall leaves, and it has helped insulate the roots. Before in the past I didn't mulch them and they didn't make it. So this one is orange mint, and I had to move this from this spot here because all these runners have rooted into the ground. So as you can see, that's what happens with the mint plants, is that they are very prolific at self-propagating. But I do have this in a pot, in this clay pot. But they put out these runners, and if you let them be, they will just root themselves. Look how big this is. And this pot is only 6 inches across, but it's got a spread of at least 3 feet around. It smells so good though. This one is Perpetua blueberry. This one bears twice per season, one in the summer and again in the fall. They produce small berries, but they are very sweet and tasty. And over in this bed, this is where the raspberry canes are on the other side. So not much is growing here. I've got some arugula. They are pretty cold hardy. And nothing there really. Looks like there are some onions that are sprouting. This one is red-veined sorrel, pretty cold hardy. There's another one right there. These are leeks. Bay leaf tree. This was started from a cutting in 2017, so going on the 4th year in 2021, this coming summer. But it's gotten so big, it's at least 5 feet tall. And my mom came over here and put on these covers, so we are layering, so that way eventually, hopefully by springtime, we can cut this off and we'll get another plant from that. There's also another one over there. So we'll end up with 3 plants in all. And when you're layering, you'll be able to propagate a more mature plant. So when we get this rooted, we can plant this one here. So this is going to be more established. These are sweet cecily or sweet chervil. Tastes similar to licorice. Here is the miniature orchard. Here are the rosa blueberries, apple trees. And over on this side is where that's giant rhubarb. So over here is a yuzu citrus. I might have to move this because it's not getting enough sun. But this is hardy all the way down to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Check out those thorns though. They're over an inch long. I got this one from One Green World, and they are located in Portland, Oregon. And this is called Baby Cakes. It's a dwarf raspberry. Grows to about only 4 feet tall and about 3 feet around. Not much going on over here. This is actually our south side of the garden, but all these evergreen trees have grown so tall in the past 9 years. So we don't really plant much here, only plants that thrive in part shade. And I actually was able to grow scarlet runner beans on this side, that left side there where we got some sun. And also potatoes thrive well here. This is where I harvested those big potatoes a couple of months ago. Got some green onions or scallions and also onion scraps that I planted last spring, and you can regrow them for more. So the scallions or green onions are also perennials, so they'll come back every year. So make sure you're saving your scraps, and they're pretty hardy, I believe, to zone 5. Some varieties are even hardier to lower zones. More scallions from scraps. These are the English primrose. Over in the spot, I believe I planted some shallots that I grew from store-bought shallots last year, and got some extra dwarf fruit trees. I believe that this is plum and a pear tree. Got some mint over in those spots. I think those are chocolate mint, and some more raspberry cane starts. I think those are hibiscus plants. These are supposed to be hardy to our zone. And over in the back is an espalier apple tree, so I need to get this in the ground in early spring. This area is the newest addition to our edible garden. My husband built these boxes and trellis last summer, where I planted scarlet runner beans, some flowers, summer squash, and there's still some leafy greens there, some Swiss chard, and looks like some onions. This area gets plenty of sun from the southeast direction, and it is also the same area where I planted all those tulip bulbs, so cannot wait to show you those this spring. One last stop. This is my makeshift grow tunnel put together with some stakes and these Sea Bites stake grips. Worked really well. Look at that. And we got some arugula, some claytonia, chard, and some Russian kale, as well as some bay leaf starts. These are all rooted. I just placed them in here to protect them from the frost since they are still very young. It looks like a few garlic sprouted in there. So these are volunteer garlic plants. I didn't plant any garlic in this year, but I've left some corms or elephant garlic corms, and every year they just sprout and we get more elephant garlic. Now, when elephant garlic is planted from the corms or bulbils, they usually don't mature until the second season. So when I harvest these next summer, I'll end up with a round bulb that have not divided into separate cloves. And then you can plant them again next fall, or you can just leave them in the ground and harvest them the following season. If you guys are interested in these steak ribs, I will leave the link below. They are by Thriving Design, and there's a code for free shipping, Learn to Grow. So before I head out, I just want to give you guys an update on what's going on with my YouTube channel, and currently working on a few projects, and I will try to upload at least one video per week during the new season, and there might be some times where I won't be able to do that. I'm so excited to share the projects that I'm currently working on with you guys, so make sure to stay tuned for that. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tour today, and let me know what's going on in your garden if you're still gardening throughout the fall and winter months. Especially if you live in a warmer climate, I'm sure you have some stuff going on. You guys know that I am growing microgreens right now, which I love to do during the fall and winter months when there's not that much growing on or going on outside. So leave a comment down below. Let me know how's everything going for you guys, and I will see you on the next video. You guys stay warm and cozy, and Happy New Year, everyone. And thank you all so much for your continued support. Have a wonderful day, guys, and happy gardening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.